Hello, wonderful beings. Welcome to Wheel of Wisdom, episode number 95. I am so happy to have you here, and I would love to know the names of people who all are present in this space. So I would love to say hi to you and to know which part of the world you're joining us from. So feel free to drop in a hi. Hi, Carrie. Carrie is joining us from Virginia. Beautiful. Carrie, is this your first time here? Or have you been here before? Because your name seems somewhat new to me. So, yeah, that's why I am interested in knowing if you feel comfortable telling. Hi, Christian. Nice to see you here again. I love the people who are coming back as well as the new ones. But yeah, it means a lot to know that you're getting some value out of it and you are joining these lives again and again. So yeah, it means a lot. Carrie says, I love the app, but first time in one of your sessions. Very excited. So am I. And thank you for giving this live a chance to touch your life in some way. And I hope that you do receive something of value from this live, Carrie. Um, Jesse is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. Beautiful. Hi, Jesse. Welcome. Caitlin says, Hi, Hudson Valley, New York. Happy to be joining again. Happy to have you here always, Caitlin. Thank you for making the time. Pav says, Hi, all, and Nisha. Hi, Pav, and welcome. And also, if I am pronouncing anyone's name wrong, feel free to correct me. Okay, so Pav is joining us from southeastern Massachusetts. Wonderful. Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you all for being in this space. And I really hope that you carry something beautiful from today's life into your day or into the rest of your week. Okay, so since there are some new people here, I am going to take just a few minutes to introduce myself and also to share what we do in this space. Okay, so for anyone who don't know me, my name is Anisha. I am a mindfulness meditation teacher. I have a background in psychology and I am currently an aligned life coach. So basically, I help women who are feeling lost, who are feeling emotionally overwhelmed, or unsatisfied with their life to create a life that they love waking up to. And how I do that is through a signature approach that I created, which is called Path, PATH. And if you would like to know about like more about me or my approach, you feel free to, go to my teacher profile and go to the about section. There you can read everything about me and stuff. Okay. And about this live. Okay. So what we do here is that we start these lives with a meditation, like a 5 or 10 minute meditation, so that we can open ourselves or we can raise our vibrations to receive that higher wisdom. So once we do the meditation, then we move to our wheel. That's why the name Wheel of Wisdom. So we spin that wheel from that, aligned place. We spin that wheel, and that wheel or the universe, God, spirit, source, angels, higher self, whatever you believe in, chooses a book for us randomly out of that wheel. And then we open that book, and then I ask you guys to choose some numbers, and yeah, we have some fun. And based on the number chosen, I do a reading from that book and we discuss. So things kind of flows from there. And I will explain that part when we get to that. But for now, are you guys ready for the meditation? You can type ready in the comments if you know you are ready and are in a quiet place to begin the meditation. Okay, Krishna is ready. Wonderful. And if you can't type, you can always just press the heart to let me know because I understand sometimes people are joining the live while doing some other stuff. Okay, so we have a lot of many people who are ready. So Sarah is ready, Pav is ready, Jesse is ready. Wonderful. Thank you guys. Okay. So I'm going to take a sip of water and then we will begin with the meditation. Caitlin says, ready. Also love your introduction. I so appreciate your professional background. Thank you, Caitlin. Yeah, I always like, thank you for saying that. I always feel like telling about myself or what I do is kind of like boring for you guys, for some of you, especially the ones who have listened to it before. But you being a regular person in these lives, and you saying that means a lot. Okay. So begin by coming into a comfortable position. You can choose to sit, stand, or lie down, whatever your body needs right now. As you begin to settle into this posture, if you feel safe, allow your eyes to close, or alternatively, you can choose to lower your gaze so you can look downwards. This helps us limit any visual distraction so that you can turn your awareness inward. And as your body and mind begins to settle, allow yourself to take a deep breath in through your nose and let go through your mouth. Two more breaths like this. And now bring your awareness to your mind and notice any worries, concerns, or thoughts that are present for you right now. So, any heavy thought that is present for you in this moment, allow yourself to think about all those things or worries or problems that you have currently in your life. And now, see if you can choose one worry out of those. So choose something that is causing the most distress for you. something that keeps you from living your life, something that distracts you from other tasks. And once you have chosen a worry, imagine yourself standing on a quiet beach with no one except you. You can feel the soft sand beneath your feet. You can hear the waves gently arriving and leaving the shore in a rhythmic and calming manner. You can feel the cool air, the fresh air upon your skin. And as you arrive fully on this beach, full of peace and possibility, visualize yourself bending down and writing that worry in the sand. So bring that worry that you chose before and write it in the sand near the waves. All the weight of your thoughts is being gently placed onto the shore. Once you complete writing that worry, just notice how does it feels like to see it there, acknowledged and held in the sand. And as you see this worry written on the sand, you notice a wave coming, a wave approaching the shore where you have written down your worry. And as you see this wave approaching, you take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, the wave washes over the worry and takes some of the sand away. So continue to breathe, and with each time that you exhale, you see a wave touching the letters on the sand, softening the edges and washing over the worry written in the sand. And in this way, with each breath, with each wave, all the thoughts associated with this problem or worry begins to dissolve little by little. You don't need to control anything here. Simply notice. Notice the worry dissolve one wave at a time, one breath at a time. Allow the ocean to carry this worry far away, beyond your reach. Seeing this worry being carried further and further away into the depths of the ocean. And one last time, take a deep breath in, creating a big wave. And as you exhale, see all of the worry disappearing into the ocean. And now notice the release as this worry has disappeared into the vast and expansive ocean, far, far away from you. Noticing if your mind or body is feeling a little bit calmer, lighter, or perhaps You are simply feeling more at ease after letting go of something that you no longer needed, something that you no longer needed to hold and carry with you. Notice whether you feel a new space opening within you where once your worry was being held. Now you have all the space within you to let more of the beauty and joy of life to enter within you, to touch you. You have all these resources and attention free to devote to what you need to do, or simply to what you would love to do. And even after this practice is going to be over, you will carry this all of the space within you. And if you have any other worry, then now you know what to do. You can simply write it down again in the sand and let the waves wash away the worry. But for now, let's come back to your body. So, becoming aware of the support beneath you, feeling the air touching your skin, and finally, whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. Thank you for all those lovely hearts. I am glad that the practice resonated with you. And I see that while we were meditating, some new people have joined us. So, welcome to all of you. And I want to let you know that since you just joined, and in case you're wondering that is this live over, then no, this live is just starting. And we just completed the first part, first element of this live. And soon we are going to move into the next element, which is about fun and wisdom. But for now, coming back to the comments and all the love that is showering here, which was just filling my heart with joy. Yeah, so let's see. How was your experience? So if anyone feels called to, who was there with us during the meditation, if you feel called to share your experience, feel free to do so in the comments. I would love to know, what happened with when you were sitting with your eyes closed. Okay. So Christian says, thank you for such a beautiful and illuminating session and a lot of hearts. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. I am glad that you like that visualization. And you're filled with so much variety of love. um, and fun fact, since you might have noticed maybe changes in the lighting. So as I was nearing the end of the practice, um, it started raining here, and I like felt so supported by that water element, not just from the ocean, but in the form of in the form of raindrops as well. Because in the previous live, we used the element of earth to, let go of the weight of our worries into the earth. And today we use the element of water. And I can still hear the rain sounds. I don't think you might be able to hear it because I have set my mic for like minimal distraction. Um, yeah. But since it is rainy season, maybe it is raining at your side as well. Okay. Irene says, oh gosh, yeah, it rained here yesterday too. It was nice. Yeah, it is. I so enjoy, watching the raindrops, and especially like with the plants and everything. They look so, so very happy. Okay. Caitlin says, my inner peace has been a little rocky the last few days. I wasn't able to focus and write one worry, but I stayed with the practice and it was very soothing to my anxieties in general. So thank you so much. I'm sorry to hear, Caitlin, that you're having a hard time these days, and it's okay, there is no compulsion as to we need to follow exactly the instructions or the guidance that I give. It's more of a suggestion, and all of you are welcome to, use it as per what is happening for you guys. So sometimes it might help that with each breath you can let go of if there are a lot of worries and you cannot choose one. With each breath or with each wave, you can just visualize letting go of each worry. So it is always up to you, and creativity is always welcome. um, Caitlin says it was beautiful being in the space and making it my own with your guidance. Yes. Yeah, that's the aim. Just making things your own. You don't have to do the things that in a way, in a certain way, or it's always being authentic and being with whatever is happening for you right now in this moment. So no one else can tell you what is the right thing to do or how to do things, how to live your life in general, also, not just the meditation. So yeah, make it your own. I love that. Hmm. So thank you, Caitlin, for sharing that experience. Christian says it was truly an amazing session. I heard it. It was incredible. Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love reading, all of these beautiful comments after the meditation or in general as well. I love interacting with you guys. Okay. So, and by the way, in case anyone missed it, and if you would like to, check out these meditations and stuff, then I want to let you know that I am releasing these meditations in the sequence one by one on Insight Timer. So, like, I have recorded. So, in each of these lives, we have done at least one meditation, and I have recorded over 85 meditations or so far. And I am releasing them, each of those meditations, as a free track for everyone, so it is available for anyone in their time of need. And, you know, uh, I think the latest that got released from this series was like related to body healing and gratitude series. So sometimes I do series like this. So right now we can say I'm doing like an element series in relation to worry. So we addressed earth, we addressed water, and let's see what would be the next element in the next, live. Yeah, but I am releasing these. So if you would like to check them out, check all the meditations that I've released so far in this, from this Wheel of Wisdom lives, then you can do so by visiting my profile. And if you would like to get notified when the new meditations get released, because as I said, one will come every week. So then, and if you're new to me, you can follow me to get notified about those. And the meditation that got released, I think, in this week was this one. Dear ears, thank you. So I'm doing like this whole body series, like dear eyes, thank you, dear brain, thank you, like this. And sorry, I usually arrange all of these, in my playlist. So like you can go to my profile, okay, and in the home page, so there are like different sections in my profile. So in the home page, when you scroll all the way down, you will see the playlists here. This is body one, this is like mindfulness challenge. These are like self-soothing techniques, coping strategies, stuff like that. This is chakra series. And anything that don't fit into the series but was part of this Wheel of Wisdom live, I put it here. Wheel of Wisdom meditations. So I try to arrange all of my content so it is easy for you to navigate. So yeah, feel free to check out if you resonated with the meditation. Matt says thank you. You're welcome, Matt. Okay, now we will move on to the next aspect of this live. But before that, hydration. So, yeah, you can also hydrate with me. Take a sip of water. Yeah, water, since that is the hero element for today. Okay. Hi, Abraham. Namaste. Welcome. Yeah, so I was just about to show you guys the wheel. That's why the name Wheel of Wisdom. Okay, let's see. Caitlin says, cheers, lol, coconut. Seltzer here. Wow. Tasty, yum. Okay. So, even more hydrating. Okay, let's see now. So, this is our Wheel of Wisdom, and this wheel contains the name of 31 books that have been randomly chosen out of the many books that I've read in the past 8 years in my own journey of transformation. Okay. And yeah, so what we are going to do now that we are like more open, more aligned, after the meditation, more settled, we are going to spin that wheel that I just showed you to receive a book that universe, God, divine, source, spirit wants to send our way. Okay? So that we can receive that message you know, that we need in our life at this moment. So let's see what wants to come through. Oh, okay. Before that, yeah. So before I spin the wheel, I invite you guys to take a moment to think like, is there any specific issue in your life, a problem that you're facing regarding which you would like some guidance, um, like a specific area of your life in which you would like some direction, clarity. So take a moment to think what is it regarding which you would like some wisdom. And if there is nothing specific in your life, you can simply set an intention that may I be open to receive some general guidance for today. Okay. So once you think of something, you can let me know either by typing in the comment or pressing the heart button. And once you do that, we can spin the wheel and let the wisdom flowing in. Okay, wonderful. So now that we have some hearts, let's spin. So hold whatever it is at the forefront of your mind and let's see what wants to come through. Okay. Hmm. It's been a week since this book showed up, and when this book was showing up, it was like on every single live it was showing up. So, yeah, so that's why I was smiling. The name of the book is Out of Your Mind by Alan Watts. So, let's see what this book has for us. Caitlin says, got one, plus I'm open to whatever golden nugget of wisdom that there may be to receive. Wonderful. Okay. So let's see, Caitlin and everyone, um, what wants to come through. Christian says Alan is so popular. Yeah, Alan Watts. You all might have like most of you might have heard of him. He is pretty popular in spirituality. Okay, so let me open it. So usually I ask you guys to choose some numbers, but this time, because I don't have like the original book for this, because as I said, these books have been taken over a span of 8 years. And at that time, I didn't knew that I would be doing this, but I have notes from these books. So as I was reading these books, I made notes of the inspirational paragraphs or the transformative exercises from these books. Okay. So, what I do is that I open those notes, I close my eyes, and I scroll through the pages of those notes until I feel like this is the section where I need to stop. This is something that everyone needs to hear, whoever is present, whoever is listening to this. So, I stop there and read that paragraph. Okay. So, with this approach, we tune into just my intuition. And with the other one, we do a mix of both. So for the next reading, we will play that part of the game as well. But for this one, I'm going to tune into my intuition and see what message wants to reach all of us that are present here. Okay. So these are my notes. Let's see. Okay, there are some comments. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. You are just in time. We were about to do the first reading for today. Caitlin says, oh goodness, this sounds juicy. So I got into my head and made dramas and anxiety for myself. And now I'm working on getting back to my normally regulated self. Hmm. Okay, so that is a huge step, Caitlin, right? To even be able to recognize our dramas. Because we all are kind of pretty creative and imaginative when it comes to imagining the worst of like how the situation is going to go. So yeah, the the way in which we try to weave a story around whatever is happening in a very negative way, in a way that how it is going to harm us, how is it going to be bad for us, you know. So we in a way create our like whole deal of suffering. So initially we just have a situation, a painful situation, even pain itself, for example, in your body, and then we weave a story around it. How bad is it? How it is going to stop me from working, how that working in a way that I used to, how my work is going to get piled up, how, like a whole story around it. And now we are in pain and now we are also suffering because of the pain. So yeah, kudos to recognizing that second arrow, So in Buddhism, this is known as the second arrow that we have initially. There's this first arrow of pain, and then we add another arrow, and now we have suffering to the mix. So, hmm. So I guess you have taken the very first and important step to recognizing that. And yeah, um, sometimes I think it's difficult to maybe go back to our normal self rather than, maybe creating a new way of being in this particular situation, because maybe right now whatever the situation is for you or for anyone who is listening to this, you know maybe right now whatever the situation is, you might not be able to be your old self, and maybe the situation is there to make you to create a new aspect of yourself. Yeah, okay. Caitlin says, I didn't know how to phrase it, but finding my peacefulness again. I get it. Yeah, to be able to feel peaceful, to be able to feel peace. I guess, yeah, that's what we are seeking. You know, we all are seeking in a way, like peace, happiness. Those are the key big things, that we want. And still, I am glad that you shared it in a way that you shared it because it allowed something to come out of me. And maybe it is not for you, Caitlin, maybe it is for someone else who is present here. That maybe whatever situation you are in right now, instead of trying to go back to your old self, maybe think what kind of a new self would you like to emerge from the situation? So, yeah, I hope that it reached someone, whoever needed to hear that. Okay, so Caitlin says yes, your reflections were helpful. Okay, so now going to the reading. Okay, so let's see what wants to come through from this book. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to find the start of this paragraph. Okay, so the author says, the ego has the same function and kind of reality as an hour or an inch or a pound or a line of longitude. Its for purposes of discussion, for convenience. We have an ego due to social convention, but the fallacy we all make is that we treat this abstraction as if it were something real and physical. But the ego is merely a composition of ideas and images about ourselves. So, you know, so ego is for the convenience or to be able to relate, you know, because if we were like, so if we were to go with this for a second, that we are everything, everything is us, and everyone is us, and we are everyone. So if we were to go through life with this kind of um this kind of being in our like expression, then it would be very difficult to express, that who did what and what happened where, because everywhere I am and everyone is me. So if we were to go with that, then it would be a whole other different level of scenario. So the author says that ego or the separate self, the separate sense of self, that I am separate from you and you are separate from her. That Caitlin is separate from Willow and Willow is separate from me, you know. So this separate sense of self, meaning what Willow consider herself to be, all the ideas, all the beliefs that Willow has about herself, or like everyone present here have about themselves, that comprises of the ego, that comprises of that identity that we have created about ourselves. And it gives us some ease, it helps us function in this life, but we think that it is real, but it is simply a mental construct, And we touched upon this in our last live that, all those thoughts, all those beliefs, every single thing is a construct of our mind, is something that has been constructed by our mind. And we need to see that, so sometimes we get too tangled in that construction. Like, for example, if you believe that, you are an incompetent person, or you are I don't know, stupid person, lazy person, we have all these labels attached to ourselves, through which we define ourselves. So if I were to ask you guys to define yourself, you would be using certain, traits or certain labels, right? And when we get too rigid around them, that's when the problem starts. So it's okay to, sometimes use those labels, but if we are if we truly believe that we are this and there is no other level of reality, there is no other, not even level, but there is no other point of view, and we get rigid in this, that's when the problems start. And it is the same for individual level. When we hold certain beliefs and we get rigid about those beliefs, that I'm not good enough, so if I truly believe that, or I'm unworthy, or I'm unlovable, these are the core beliefs, then we limit our life, we close ourselves from any other possible life that we could have led. Because again, there is a cycle. Whatever you believe is going to affect your results, the results that you're going to get, and hence your whole life. So, and there is another thing that the author mentions next, which is that the images we carry about ourselves are extremely inaccurate and incomplete. So, my image of me is not at all your image of me, and my image of you is not at all your image of you, right? Again, my image of me is not at all your image of me. So, what I think about myself is not the same as what you think about myself, and vice versa. Furthermore, my image of me leaves out all manner of information regarding my nervous system, circulation, metabolism, and all sorts of subtle relationships with the surrounding human and non human universe. In other words, the image I have of myself, my ego, is a caricature. I arrived at this image mainly through my interaction with other people who told me who I was in one way or other, either directly or indirectly. And I play that picture or character of myself out into the world, and the world plays it back. This is the part that people miss, that not only that you play the character into the world, but the world plays it back. Because whoever you believe you are going to behave in that manner, that it is going, you are going to behave in a way that is going to produce a result that confirm those beliefs. And that is how those beliefs get strengthened every single time with every passing experience of yours. And in this way, you are getting what you expect out of life, because there are a lot of different mechanisms that are going behind that, behind this whole loop. Caitlin says that infernal loop. Yeah. And always, the first step is awareness. You cannot make any change in your life unless you're aware that there is a problem, that there is something to change, that, there is something that I didn't knew about, but it was controlling my life. So, I do have certain things that might be able to help you with that. If you are interested, you can check them out. So I have a course that might be able to help you to figure out, like, what are those beliefs? What do you believe about yourself? What does your ego comprise of, Because once you will figure that out, once you would know that these are my beliefs, these are the things that I believe about myself, and not only you will get to discover them in this course, like not only you will get to know what you believe about yourself, the deeper beliefs, not the, superficial thoughts. And although those superficial thoughts, whatever thoughts that you get, you know are influenced by those beliefs. So the kind of thought, the kind of thinking, the kind of perspective you're going to have in a situation is determined by the kind of beliefs that you hold about yourself, about other people, and beliefs about life. So, first, you will get to become aware of what are those beliefs. First, you will get to uncover them because they are hidden away, because there are a lot of reasons that they're hidden away. Um, and one of them that is that, the all of these started forming, like, when you were a child, and you might know that already if you have done a lot of inner work, right? So in this course, I also help you find the source of those beliefs. Like, was this belief in you when you were born, or did you get it from somewhere? And if you get it from somewhere, then from whom? And once we figure that out, we are not going to just drop it like, okay, they gave me that belief, they did all those things to me. They, gave me trauma and all of those, things that we talk about. Because we can do that, that is one option, but you're not going to move forward from there. You are going to get stuck in the past then. Instead, once you uncover that belief, and once you uncover the source of that belief, now you get to know that this is not my reality, meaning that this was not my belief. I took it from somewhere. So For example, you are walking and you like something, you pick it up, or maybe someone put it in your backpack. For example, you have a backpack and someone put something that is not yours, and it is really smelly, it is really, heavy, and you don't want it, and it is making your journey harder, right? So you're walking and it is in your backpack, it is heavy, it is smelly, it is attracting all the bad insects and everything, and it is making your life kind of miserable, and it is stopping you from, enjoying the whole trail or the beauty around you, the beauty of life. Then it's not that, we know that we have it and we are like, okay, this person did this person put it, and we just keep on blaming that person for the whole journey. Again, we are not doing anything about it, right? It's still there. So we need to stop the blame. We need to take the responsibility that, okay, responsibility meaning not the blame. We need to just take that, we need to just let go of that blame, so that now we have some spaciousness, now we have some freedom to choose, do I want to have that in my backpack, or do I want to put it out, do I want to get rid of it right now, do I want to let go of it? And that is the choice that would help you move forward, and because it is no more heavy, and enjoy the life that is around you, enjoy the trail, take in the beauty of life, and not let that color it or make it smelly or anything. um yeah, so kind of like a very visual thing. But that is how we move forward, and there are various ways to move forward, various ways to let go of, you can either first learn to, okay, you can either challenge them, okay, challenge these beliefs, so that you can see that they are not really true. Because even though sometimes when we see that someone else gave it to us, but then also we have this kind of like, okay, maybe they said this to me, but it is still true. But so there are various ways. So as I said, one way is to challenge it, one way is to challenge it, one way is to just see that it is not, yeah, I don't like it, I don't want it, and just whenever you have this belief, you're like, okay, I don't want it, I don't want to continue with this belief, and that's it. So, like, based on whatever is happening with you, there are different approaches to do that. And if you want to like try one approach to do that, I can definitely share with you something. Um, yeah, here. So in this course, I have mentioned ways to challenge your thoughts, but those same strategies applies to your beliefs as well. Because your beliefs are nothing but like constantly or multiple times the thoughts that you have repeated constantly multiple times, that became deeply rooted within you. So yeah, you can apply the same strategies and see how that work for you. Okay. So there are a lot of comments. I'm going to go to them. But before that, I'm going to drink some water. So you guys can save this course if you are interested, as I'm going to like remove it in a second. And so far, if you have found anything of value from this live, from the readings, from whatever came up, and if you would like to, support my work or help me keep the space alive, keep showing up, which I love to do. But yeah, it is always helpful to receive some support. So yeah, if you want to, you know, give something or offer something, and if you are able to, then you can do so by making a donation of whatever amount that, you feel called to. Okay, so let's go through the comments. And by the way, Caitlin, I just remembered since you were mentioning about like peace and regulating yourself. Um, and if you haven't already, you can check out like I have some, tracks related to that to help you. So in those tracks, okay, let me show you instead of like just telling it out loud. Yeah. So as I said in the home page on my Insight Timer profile, you can scroll all the way down, okay? And there is a playlist here known as self-soothing techniques. So you can check these out. So in this, like I have included a lot of different, techniques, a lot of different coping strategies or emotion regulation techniques that the professionals recommend their clients to help them feel more grounded, feel more regulated, feel more, feel less overwhelmed by whatever emotion is going up, coming up for you. So if you are interested, you can, check them out. I can like put maybe one or two here and you can see if you resonate with them. And I hope that they do bring you some moment of peace or they help you when things get overwhelming. Caitlin says, I will give it a look. Thanks. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so let's see. Christian says, our ego is an armor. It is our way of protecting ourselves, the protection of our vanity or acceptance. Once you strip the ego, your natural state emerges. You become aware of your true self rather than your manufactured appearance that we push to the world for inauthentic reasons. I love that, how you put the reasoning behind the ego because usually ego is kind of a bad word in the spiritual community. And and also sometimes it's just like how thinking is like a bad word, sometimes people are like, okay, I just want to get rid of that, I just want to just get rid of the thoughts and have no thoughts, please. But whatever it is that is there, your thoughts, your emotions, your sense, your identity, whatever is here, even your beliefs, even the beliefs that are limiting you, every single thing, there is a purpose behind it. And the purpose has, no matter how many times I walk through this with my clients, with every single one of them, when we take that journey, the clients see, those people see, and I also get to witness that all of these, are just trying to protect you. And all they want is just to be acknowledged. Every single part of you, the ones that you hate, the ones that you like, the ones that you love, every single part of you has good intentions for you. No matter if that part of you says mean things to you, no matter whatever it is that the part do, at its heart, there is always a beautiful intention. And when we are being critical of ourselves, it would it would change your relationship with yourself if you can just remember that. And maybe this might not be making sense to you if you haven't really experienced, you know, if you haven't had um the experience of witnessing a part of you, of having communication with a part of you. But this is something that I want to share with you, like a possibility maybe for you as well, because it has happened with every single one of them. every single person, no exceptions up until now. And as Christian says, when I asked each of these different personalities and parts and, each of these different aspects of the ego to step aside, then that natural true self emerges. The one that has everything that you wished for, the one that is kind, is compassionate, is wise, is brave, is whatever quality that, you want within you, is all of that. So, yeah, I don't know why I said that, but I just felt to say that. I hope that it did reassure someone listening to this. Today, a lot of things are coming up for me, which is making no logical sense for me, for my mind. But it is my hope that it reaches someone who needed to hear that. Caitlin says, I'm handling my self made dramas differently than in the past. So I am seeing things unfold differently than my anxieties predicted. But but it's still such a road to travel and beyond. Yeah, it is. It is. And it is difficult. And I'm so proud of you to be able to, do things differently because it takes a lot, a lot of, a lot of work and a lot of like courage to be able to do things differently because your mind is always afraid to try new things. Your mind is always afraid to do something that you don't usually do or react in a way that you don't usually do because it thinks that there is danger. And I love the part where you highlighted that, that you are seeing things unfold differently than your anxieties predicted. So that's the thing, and I've noticed it so many times in my life that we are always listening to our mind blabber 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 about the situation, how is it going to go wrong, how you're going to mess up, how all of those things. And if you analyze every single time it predicted that this would happen, and if you take the predictions and see that how many times did they come true, they rarely do. And if even if they do, even if things goes wrong, they don't go as wrong as your mind predicted or in the same manner. And when we are planning or our mind is thinking, it tries to think of every single way in which the situation is going to go wrong, and yet something different happens. We use all of our mind's ability, and yet something happens differently. Even the situation goes wrong. Even if that happens, then also the way in which it unfolds is completely different than we imagined. and and even if it goes wrong, we see that we were able to handle it, and our mind was like, you would not be able to handle it, you would mess up, you would do this, you would do that, you would feel this, you would not be able to handle it, all of those different things. So yeah, so we can remind ourselves of these two things, when those worries come up, that my mind is not always true. And similarly, your mind is not always true about those beliefs, because just how the author mentioned that what I think of myself is different from what you think of me and what some other person think of me. So we have just constructs floating around and no reality that has a basis. So if this is the imagination, then I can create a new one. If this is something that I learned, then I can drop it and learn something new. So there is all this freedom and choice that comes when we become aware of these patterns, when we become aware of these, sources and everything. Okay, so Caitlin says, loving this reading and your thoughts. Thank you, Caitlin. It's always encouraging because, yeah, sometimes I'm like, okay, Anisha, you are speaking too much. Again, my mind is like that. um, okay, so Caitlin says, I was in an inner child workshop and they were explaining the inner child system. how the inner sage will take the inner child and direct it to the energy of the inner father or inner mother, depending on the emotion or situation. So then the father energy protects and the mother energy nurtures, but both are just trying to protect you and keep you safe. So interesting. Yeah, exactly. And to remember that the sage and the mother and the father, the protective father energy or the nurturing mother energy or the yin and yang is within us. The wisdom, the yin, the yang, everything is within us. In that workshop, you discovered all of those different aspects, but those are just, your qualities again, and you are not needing something outside of you. It's already within. Christian says, yes, life is a never ending struggle. In my opinion, we learn to accept the struggle and not let it overwhelm us. Once we accept and become comfortable with the struggle, then we grow and become wiser. Thoughts are just pouring out. Thank you for stimulating this conversation and sharing your thoughts of wisdom with us. Yeah, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. You always bring in so much wisdom. And as I always say, it's not just the reading, even though we have just read one thing today, but we talked about a lot of different things. And I always say it's not just the book through which the wisdom is going to arise. The wisdom might, there are different sources of wisdom. And in this space, we are just being open to receiving them because they are there with with us all the time. The guidance is there, the messages are there. We just need to listen. So right now, the message might be coming through Christian, Caitlin, me, the book, something else that is happening for you right now in your wherever you are. So yeah, things or wisdom can arise from anywhere. We just need to be open. Okay, so now let's see. Let's do one more reading and then we can wrap up. Okay. Okay. Yeah, maybe one more sip. My throat is aching. I spoke a lot today, I think. Okay, maybe two more sips and then we can do the next reading. Okay, let's see now. So, to be honest, I'm feeling a little tired suddenly. Hmm. Okay, maybe let's do this. To honor my needs as well as yours, let's do this. Hmm. Give me a second. Mm-hmm. So I have like this Sarah says take care of yourself. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I was going for another reading, but I think maybe let's like draw our card. So, okay, let me show you guys. Give me a second. So there is like this kind of um so there is this kind of a website through which I sometimes draw card for myself, and instead of doing a book reading, let's, just pick a card and see, and, see what wants to come through and wrap the session for this, with this card. So, yeah, maybe just a new special element to end this. Caitlin says, yes, we have been hanging a while. Yeah, usually I actually feel energized, but right now I am starting to feel tired. So, yeah, one reading from this, and then we can wrap. Okay. So, so again, you can do the same, if you have something specific regarding which you would like some guidance, bring that to your mind, and I will click here to pick a card for all of us. Hmm. Okay, let me see what came up. Okay, it's loading. Just a second. Hmm. Okay, so here is the card. It's the Chariot Tarot card. And the affirmation that goes with this card is, I choose who I am becoming, and I run towards it with conviction. I guess kind of in alignment with what we just read, that deciding or choosing what belief do I want in my backpack, what do I don't want, or what is stopping me from moving ahead and just leaving that and choosing who I want to become, what do I want to believe about myself, how do I want to see myself, and all of those things, having the choice. So I choose who I am becoming and I run towards it with conviction. So no matter what comes in your path, running towards it with conviction, towards whatever it is or whoever it is that you want to become. And the card says your determined actions now will help ground your sense of purpose and resolve tomorrow. Your determined actions now will help ground your sense of purpose and resolve tomorrow. So maybe the card is asking us to take actions in alignment with who you want to become. And that is like again alignment with what I do, and that's why I mentioned, I think some of you might have noticed, or since some of you might were there, that I am an aligned life coach, and that is what I do, that is how I help you live a life that you would love. Waking up to that, would be deeply fulfilling. It is by living in alignment with a lot of different things, which basically boils down to who you are. Question says, I love that intention from this card. Very profound and true. This can be emotional. An amazing session for sure. Get your rest. Thank you, Christian. I am glad that you enjoyed the session. Yeah, it means a lot, really, because yeah, it really means a lot, since I am like starting to feel less and less of energy, or, just um it means a lot that you enjoyed this session. Okay, okay. Now I feel like I'm repeating things. It's time to end the live. But thank you so much for staying with me, and usually the lives are much more energetic, okay, and much more fun and much more like yeah, a lot of different things. So don't yes, they are not usually this low of an energy that I'm feeling right now, or it is just what I am feeling and you are not feeling. But I so very appreciate you staying there, and I hope that you will join me in like in the next live. And the next live is it is on 18th of August at the same time. Okay, and I really hope to see you guys there. Caitlin says you channeled a lot. Yeah, maybe I didn't thought of that. A lot did came like randomly. So, so yeah, maybe that's the thing. So thank you, Sarah, for that beautiful flower. Caitlin says that was great, very profound. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. So, as I and as I, reach the end of this live, again, if you guys would like to explore more of my offerings and more of my stuff, you can, go to my profile. If you're new to me, feel free to follow me. And if you gained anything out of this session, you can, support me, help me show up again and again by making a donation if you're able to, if you want to, because that helps me sustain these lives. That helps me, keep doing these things and keep creating resources like all the different free meditations that I offer on Insight Timer. So, yeah, it helps me create resources for those who might need it at some point in their life. So, and yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's just end it. Thank you so much for being here. I bow down to the divine within you all. Namaste, and I will see you day after tomorrow on 18th. Bye bye.